share my screen. Okay. Okay, fine. So, how many system pages are there in SQL Server data file?
32767.
System pages.
System page. 6 system pages.
Okay, what are those system pages?
GAM, SGAM, PFS, IAM, bulk BCM, bulk change map, and DCM, differential change map.
Okay. So can anyone tell me what PFS will track?
Sorry, sir.
What PFS page will track?
It will track how much free space in page.
Okay, very good. Okay, what IAM page will track?
What the extents used
IAM,
by
index
table.
allocation.
Yes, IAM.
All pages allocated to a table.
Okay.
Tracks all pages.
Okay. Fine. What SGAM will track?
It tracks all mixed extents which are currently used as a mixed extents and have at least one free page.
Okay.
Yeah, at least
Very,
one free page.
very good. How many types of pages are there?
8 types.
Types of
How
eight
many
types.
types of pages? How many types of pages?
Basically, two types of pages: data pages and system pages. And
Very good. Okay, 2 types. Okay, not 8 types. Database and system pages. What are the different data pages?
data page, index page, and the text or image page.
Okay. Okay. What text or image page will track?
Data types, text, images, var tag.
Okay.
Text data type and image data type and
Image data type.
data type.
Okay. Large objects data will be saved in the text or image page. Okay. Right. Fine. What is the size of the page?
8
8
KB.
KB.
What is the size of the extent?
64 KB.
64 KB.
Who said
64.
48?
8.
64.
Okay. How many types of extents are there?
2 type of extents.
Okay. Whenever you create any object, which extent will be allocated by the
Mixed
SQL server?
extent.
Okay. A page from the mixed extent.
Mixed extent.
Okay. Very good. Okay. So let me continue the discussion. Okay. So yesterday we have discussed about the data file, right? So today we'll discuss about the log file. Okay. Before that, let me show you the data file diagram. At least you will get some better idea, right? How it will be. Okay. Right. So if you see here, okay, image is somewhat not clear, but try to understand the things. Okay. So in the instance, you will have databases. Okay. In the database, you will have primary file groups and log files. Okay. In the database, you will have primary file groups and log files. In the primary file groups, you will have data files, either MDF file or NDF file. In the data files, you will have extents. In the extents, you will have pages. Extent is nothing but collection of 8 continuous data pages. Extent is nothing but collection of 8 continuous data pages. Okay. So can we resize the page?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it's an architectural design. Okay. You cannot resize the page. Page size is fixed, which is 8 KB. Okay. Can anyone tell me how many parts this page contains?
3 parts.
Okay. What are those 3 parts?
Page header, body of page, and row.
Okay.
Row.
What page header will store?
Metadata of page.
Metadata of the
Can anyone tell me any 2-3 properties?
Page ID.
Page name.
Okay.
Page number, page ID, free space.
Very good. Very good. Object ID of the particular page. Okay.
Object ID.
Right. Very good. So what row of it will store?
It will store row addresses of
Each row.
all records.
Address of each record. Okay. Right. Very good. Fine. Right. So this is how the structure will organize in the instances. You will have in the instance, you'll have databases. In the database, you'll have primary file groups and log files. Okay. Then in the log files, you will have data files. In the data files, you will have extents. In the extents, you will have your particular
Page.
pages. Okay. So today we'll discuss about the log file architecture. Okay. So log file, how log file will look like, what is the structure of the log file, what is the usage of the log file. Okay. We'll discuss in today's class. Let me check the diagram as well. Transaction log file. Okay, I'm not getting. Right. Okay. So we'll discuss about the log file, transaction log file. Yesterday we just discussed about the data file, right? So data file will be used to store the data permanently. Why? Because these pages and all will comes from your hard disk, right? Right. These pages will comes from your hard disk, right? So the data, once the data is moved to the data file, the data will be stored permanently in the disk. Even you just restart the server, even you just reboot the machine. Okay, even something happened to the server also, again, if you are able to recover the hard disk, you are able to recover the data. Okay, so data file means the data will be stored in the pages physically, which is permanently stored. If something happened to the server, if the server is rebooted also, you can get the data again once the server is online or once the server is back. Then what log file will do? What is the usage of the log file? What is the architecture of the log file? What is meant by transaction? How it will be organized? How all the transactions will be organized in the log file? What is meant by implicit transaction? What is meant by explicit transaction? Okay, so before discussing this log file, we'll discuss about the transaction types. Okay, we have two types of transactions. Okay, implicit transaction and explicit transaction. Implicit transaction, okay, and explicit transaction as well. What is this implicit transaction, explicit transaction? Okay, so earlier we just discussed it, right? Insert into table name something like items. Items is my table. Values, okay, 1 comma computer table, sorry, okay, comma something around 6,000. Okay, so this is my transaction. Okay, the whole line you can see, right? The whole query is my transaction. What is data? Only these three values are data. So data file will always store the data. Only one compute table and 6,000. Data file won't store all this information. Data file won't store all this information. Data file will only store the data. Okay, one compute the record, exact record, it will be stored in the data file. Log file will store the whole transaction. Okay, log file will store the whole transaction. I'll tell you why it will store the whole transaction. Okay, fine. So before that, we should know what is meant by implicit transaction and explicit transaction. Okay, so whenever you write any query, whenever you write any transaction, okay, So actually SQL Server, what it will do, you know, the transaction, exact transaction structure is like this: begin tran, the command is like this, and your insert query, and then commit. Every transaction you have to write like this only. Every transaction you have to write like this only. Begin tran means it is going to begin the transaction, and then it is going to do whatever, like insert, update, delete, whatever transaction. Don't think like transaction means only insert queries. Okay, insert, update, delete, anything is a transaction, right? So what commit will do, you know, so commit will help you to save the transaction permanently. Commit will help you to save the transaction permanently. Simply if you mention commit, then only the data will goes from your log file to the data file. Remember guys, log file is a kind of main door of the database. Log file is a kind of main door of the database. Whatever transaction comes first, those transactions will hit the log file. All the transactions first, they will hit the log file. They will store inside the log file. Once the commit is over, okay, then the data, only data will be moved from your log file to data file. Till then the whole data and transaction will be saved inside your log file only. Once the transaction is completely committed, committed means moving the data from log file to the data file. Why? Because log file is not a permanent storage unit. Log file is not a permanent storage unit area. In the log file, the transaction will be stored temporarily. Why it will store temporarily? Okay, so we'll discuss about those things. Okay, so every transaction, the structure is like this. Every transaction, it will start with the begin command, begin tran command. Then the transaction you are using, or you're inserting, or you're like whatever you're typing, and the commit. Each transaction will be followed by commit. Each transaction will be followed by commit. Then only the data will be saved permanently to the data file. Okay, so implicit transaction means what? So usually whenever I'm writing the transaction, I don't write begin tran and commit, right? I don't write begin tran and commit, but I still run this command. Is it an implicit transaction or explicit transaction? What is the transaction called? Or else, let me ask like this. Okay, so I'll just write this command only. I don't want to write the whole begin tran and commit. Then tell me whether this transaction is going to be committed or not. Commit means permanently saved, like Control S button. How we are going to save the data? Once you type anything in the document, you are going to use Control S, right, to save the document. In the same way, commit is a kind of Control S. It is going to save the data permanently to the data file. Okay, as of now, commit, meaning of commit is a kind of saving the data to the data file permanently. So without giving begin tran and commit, if I run a transaction like this, is it going to be committed or not?
No, not committed.
Not
Yes, sir.
committed.
Just it is temporarily stored into the log file only.
Okay, so it won't committed, right? It won't committed as I don't give the commit. Okay, 1 minute please, just 1 minute. Right. Okay, so as you said, as we don't give commit here, so the transaction won't be committed. The transaction will be saved temporarily, right? But the answer is it will be committed. How come it will be committed? I told you, right? Whenever you're writing some queries, SQL Server will help you by adding some of the default parameters. So begin tran and commit both are the default parameters. Okay. So even though you just mention the same query, okay, without giving begin tran and commit, okay, you even though you just mentioned a single query without giving begin tran and commit, still SQL Server will add begin tran and commit to the transaction. Why? Because these are the default parameters. Earlier we just discussed it, right? Creating the database. To create the database, we have a small query, create database name. But whenever I just generated a script, you can see a long script is there to create the database, but I didn't give all those parameters. SQL Server gave all those default parameters. Remember guys, SQL Server will always tries to add the default parameters if you are not giving. So you can write the transaction like this: begin tran, your insert or update, delete, whatever query it is, and commit. Or else you can write the transaction like this also. If you write the transaction like this, no issues. If you write the transaction like this, no issues. Why? Because SQL Server Database Engine will add begin tran. Before executing, it will add begin tran, okay, and commit to the transaction. Okay. Before execution itself, it is going to add begin tran and commit to the transaction. So even though if you give like this without begin tran and commit, that is also fine. Okay, committed transaction only. Even though you give like this is also committed transaction only. SQL Server will add the default parameters begin tran and commit at the end of each transaction. These transactions are called implicit transactions. Either you can specify like this or you can specify like this. Both are same meaning. Here you are giving explicitly. Here SQL Server will give you the begin tran and commit. Okay, begin tran and commit means sorry, implicit transactions means having complete structure, like it is going to start with begin tran and your query, then commit. Even though if you don't provide the default parameters like begin tran and commit, still SQL Server Database Engine will add those two default parameters to the query and it is going to execute it. So all the, remember guys, only once you give commit, then only the transaction will be permanently saved. So all the implicit transactions are auto committed. Auto committed means how it is auto committed? Why? Because SQL Server will add commit to each and every transaction. So all implicit transactions are auto committed transactions. Guys, if you give begin tran commit, that's fine. But if you give only begin tran, explicitly you only you only gave the begin tran, but you don't give the commit. So then tell me whether the transaction is going to be committed or not.
Yes, sir.
Committed.
The transaction will be committed. You gave
Committed.
only begin tran, you didn't give commit, but still the transaction will be committed. Is it
Yes, sir.
clear? Okay, so the answer is the transaction won't be committed. Okay, why? Because if you start giving manually, you have to give both values begin tran and commit manually. If you only give begin tran, if you don't give commit, SQL Server won't give the default parameter commit to the existing transaction. Why? Because SQL Server will treat this transaction as a explicit transaction and uncommitted transaction. If you don't give begin tran commit, SQL Server will provide both default parameters. If you give only begin tran, SQL Server will think, okay, customer is looking for uncommitted transaction, so I don't want to give commit, so the transaction won't be committed. Got it? If you want to give both begin tran and commit. Okay. If you don't want to give, leave it. Just write the transaction. SQL Server will give begin tran and commit. But if you start begin tran, if you don't commit, the transactions are uncommitted transactions, which are not permanent transactions. You cannot see the data into the data file. Only the data will be stored in the log file temporarily. Sometimes developers will run some uncommitted transactions. You can see the data in the table, but it is not permanent. You can see the temporary data. Okay, so in case if you don't mention commit, if you started giving begin tran, but you don't mention commit, that means it is an uncommitted transaction. Commit means it is going to copy the data from your log file to the data file permanently. Uncommitted means it won't copy the data, it will store inside the log file only. It will store inside the log file only. Okay, so this is how implicit transactions and explicit transactions will work. Explicitly, if you gave begin and commit, those are all explicit transactions, which are uncommitted transactions. Implicit transactions are committed transactions. Why? Because either you are giving begin tran or commit, or SQL Server will give begin tran or commit. Those transactions are called implicit transaction. Explicitly you gave begin tran, but if you didn't give commit, then those transactions are called explicit transactions. Explicit transactions are uncommitted transactions. By default, all explicit transactions are uncommitted transactions. They won't commit until, see, for example, you started giving values, 100 values, 1000 values, but you didn't give commit. Yesterday, day before yesterday, in our last class, I just inserted 1 lakh records, right? Even though you insert 1 lakh record at the end of the, why? Because I didn't give begin tran, so no need to give commit also. Okay, if I don't give begin tran, no need to give commit. So last time also I just inserted 1 lakh records without giving begin tran and commit. So those are all auto committed transactions. Imagine I started giving like this begin tran I gave. I just gave all 1 lakh transaction, 1, 2, 3 like that. I gave 1 lakh transaction, but still I don't give commit. All 1 lakh transactions are uncommitted transactions only. Those transactions will be saved inside your log file. They don't go to the data file. Once they go to the data file, then only transactions will be stored permanently. Data will be stored. See, data file, in the data file, we cannot call it as a transaction. In the data file, data will be there. In the log file, transaction will be there. Remember, there is a difference between data and transaction. The whole thing is a transaction. Okay. The whole thing is a transaction. Only you can see the main data, right? This is called data. In the data file, like on your page, only these values will be stored. In your log file, the whole transaction will be stored. Why it is going to store the whole transaction? What is the need? What is the purpose of storing the whole transaction? Okay, so why we should have log file? First of all, why we should have two files? Why can't we store the data in the data file? Why again we should have the log file? Okay, so the answer is, you're trying to send 10,000 rupees to me. Okay, you're sending 10,000 rupees to me, imagine. So what should be the outcome of this transaction? You're sending money to me. What is the outcome of the transaction? Either it should be successful or it should be failed. If it is successful, what is the result? I am going to get the money. If it is failed, what is the result? I am not going to get the money, right? So there is no partial success in this transaction, right? Like 5,000 comes to my account, 5,000 still failed, like it will be there in your account. There is no partial success. Either I am going to get all the 10,000 rupees or else I'll get 0 rupees. Why? Because it is very important, guys. Don't know, we cannot expect next second what will happen. While sending the money, if something happened to the server, imagine the money will be credited to my account and they don't debit from your account. Why? Because once the money is credited to my account, it has to update, the same 10,000 rupees has to be deducted from your account. Imagine you're running on transaction, you just send 10,000 rupees to me. Okay, the transaction is successful. Imagine it was partial successful. I got the 10,000 rupees, but while updating your record, something happened to the database. It is unable to update your record. So I am going to get 10,000 rupees. You will have still the 10,000 rupees, which is 20,000, which is not valid for any transaction. The outcome should be 10,000 only. In the same, if you go to the ATM, okay, you are trying to draw 1 lakh rupees from your account. You just put your ATM card, debit card, and you just give the PIN and you just enter the amount. Everything is done. Now you are getting the amount. 1 lakh came, you took the 1 lakh. Suddenly the ATM machine is powered off. Suddenly. Why? Because once the transaction is successful, what it has to do? it has to update your account that 1 lakh is debited from your account.